I sighed. Slide the mouse. Select clear. Click OK. I was just playing a little joke on her. Otherwise she'll blow her brains out instead of burning her hair. Oh yeah? Seeing that, I'm angry. Yuri instantly jumped into my arms and pampered. Sis, I was really careful. I only used a little bit. Just enough to light the shower cap. She held out her thumb. She stuck out her thumb and showed a little bit of her fingernail. I pushed her away and pinched her cheeks. Are you so careful you forget to delete your browsing history? She was surprised at first. Then she pouted in annoyance. Because of her hair being burnt, Pearl locked herself in her house for days. Even when Aunt Taiwu went in, she'd get kicked out. Poor thing, Yuri sighed. Auntie would heave the teacup in her hand onto the table. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Hera's hair is just a little short, it'll grow back soon. Yuri shrugged her shoulders. Really? That's a pity. Pearl was finally willing to go downstairs for dinner. Because her mother paid a lot of money to have a fancy wig made for her. I looked her up and down. I couldn't stop admiring her new hair, and she gave me a glare. I think she's got a grudge against me for burning her hair. At dinner, Perla, who was serving soup, suddenly looked up at me. The alarm went off in my mind. Her hand shook as she held the spoon. She threw a big spoonful of hot soup in my face. Luckily, I was able to dodge in time, but my earlobes were red and hot. What do you mean? As soon as I asked her a question, Auntie would jump to Pella's defense. She didn't do it on purpose. I don't think you're in any trouble. You're the older sister. Why are you so careful? Okay. Oh my god. My god. There's a bug. Before anyone could react, Yuri grabbed the fork in his hand and stabbed Perla in the back of her hand. Blood spurted out instantly. At once, Paris cries and Annie Wu's screams almost toppled the roof of the house. Auntie Wu roared, Yuri, what are you doing? Looking at Auntie Wu, who was furious, and Pura, who couldn't speak because of the pain. I smiled and said, Yuri didn't do it on purpose. Auntie Wu, you won't be angry, will you? Auntie Wu shouted, You didn't mean it. Perla's hand was bleeding. Yuri said, pitifully, I just wanted to fight the bugs. I continued, My sister is young and doesn't know what she's doing. Auntie Wu, you're the eldest. You won't be so careful, right? Don't bother with her. Looking at Annie Wu's face like she ate a fly. I was in a good mood. I even ate 2 more bowls of rice. The living room was filled with low pressure. My father was sitting on the sofa, next to Perla and her mother, who looked aggrieved. Yuri is so young to be hurting people. She's really capable. I stepped in front of Yuri and said, Pella threw hot soup on me at a young age. She's got good manners. Shut up. You don't get it to talk here. I just don't think you can be fair. Aren't we your daughters? My father slapped me across the face. It was so hard it caused a brief buzzing in my left ear. He said I was confused. Isn't that what he is? Even if Petra had got into trouble today, he'll just throw the blame on us. He's defending them. I turned my head slowly and looked at him and said, word for word, when Mom was alive, how many times did you come home? Did you raise us? Why are you exercising your father's rights now? Have you done your duty? Don't forget that half of your money belongs to my mother. This is Annie Wu standing up. Honey, don't be angry. Sita is just a child. He doesn't understand what we adults do. As expected, my father got even angrier. Your mother ruined both of you. She's not right. If anything like this happens again, get out of here, both of you. I have nothing more to say to him. I picked up Yuri and went back to my room. Perla's hand was bandaged like a pig's hoof. She even came to the door. You got beat up, didn't you? Serves you right. I'm warning you both. If you mess with me again, I'll have my father kick you out. What are you doing?" While she was talking, Yuri had already picked up the fruit knife on the table and pressed her against the door frame. The sharp tip of the knife was cutting into her face. "I'm still a few months shy of 12. You said I'll kill you first. Then I'll stab your mother to death. Will I go to jail?" Perla said with a provocative look in her eyes. "How dare you? Do you think I dare?" As Yuri said that, he pointed the tip of the knife at Perla's eyes, maybe remembering the way Yuri poked her palm during the day. Tara's legs started to shake. Yuri whispered in her ear, "You and your bitch mother got my sister beaten up. I'll pay you back for that sooner or later. Oh, and by the way, are you happy with your new hairstyle?" Perla was shocked and angry. "It's you. If you still want this face, don't mess with us." In just a few days, she lost her hair and hurt her hand. Maybe she was really scared. She cried and went to her mom. As soon as she left, Yuri's face fell. I hugged her from behind. "Yuri, wait a little longer. After I finish my college entrance exams when I'm an adult, then we'll get mom's inheritance." After that, Perla was a lot more obedient. She still looks at me with hostility, but she doesn't make any small moves anymore. That's good, and with school starting, I don't see her as much as I'd like to. The last period before the college entrance exams was both hectic and stressful, but my grades were pretty stable. I did well in all the mock exams. My teacher said if I keep this up, I'll be able to get into a famous university. Because of this, my father's attitude towards me eased a lot. The countdown to the college entrance exams began. I began to adjust my routine, preparing to face the exam in the best possible condition. But that day, I was sleeping. Suddenly, I felt someone staring at me. I opened my eyes in a daze. Suddenly, I realized there was a man standing at the foot of my bed. I sat up and saw that it was Andy Wu. "What are you doing in my room?" "I came in to look for something." "Don't worry about it." Then she searched all over my room. She whispered to herself, "I remember putting it here. Why can't I find it?" I turned on my mobile phone. It says it's Vovazura. Until the end. She did not find the thing in her mouth. She told me to go back to sleep. How could I possibly sleep? The next few days, she came to my house every morning, either looking for something or doing hygiene. She even told me to get up and eat. What kind of high school student wakes up at 5 a.m. to eat? I tried to lock the door, but she got the key from somewhere. "Can you not come into my room early in the morning?" I held back my anger and said. Auntie Wu looked aggrieved and said, "I just see you study so hard every day. I want to get up early and make you breakfast. I study until 12 o'clock every night. You came in at 5 a.m. and disturbed my rest. I'm just trying to be nice. I work so hard to cook for you, and you hate me for it. If you don't want to rest well, go to bed earlier at night." There you go again. I was about to say something, but Yuri pulled my sleeve under the table. When I was woken up by the alarm bell that I hadn't heard in a long time, I couldn't believe it. Did Auntie Wu oversleep today? However, when I saw the three of them sitting on the sofa, my footsteps to go downstairs lurched. "Kura, why are you up?" I frowned and asked. "It's still early in the morning. She should be sleeping." "Shouldn't she be?" I immediately looked at Annie Wu and Pella. I didn't expect to see Pella's black eyes like a panda's. From her broken speech, last night around 1:00 a.m., Yuri knocked on Perla's door. As soon as Perla opened the door, she saw a cloaked figure standing straight in her doorway in the dimly lit corridor. She was startled, and when she returned to bed, when she went back to bed, she couldn't sleep because the scene came back to her as soon as she closed her eyes. Every 2 hours after that, Yuri knocked on her door. She didn't open the door. Yuri kept knocking. At 5 o'clock, Auntie Wu saw him. I haven't slept all night. Perla was holding her head in pain. Auntie Wu felt sorry for Perla and blamed Yuri. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you sleep? Yuri said innocently. My sister used to live in that room. When I couldn't sleep at night, I'd go to her. I'm used to it. Last night, I forgot someone else was in the room. I was looking for the wrong place. Auntie Wu glared at her through clenched teeth. If you want to be with your sister so badly, then you can sleep in her room tonight. Yuri smiled and said, I'll do it. Tonight. Yuri got under my blanket. I rubbed her head and said, You didn't sleep at all last night. Did you doze off in class today? She squinted like a hamster. She said it's okay. Anyway, what the teacher said wasn't too difficult. She'll just make up for it after class. Yeah, I'll teach you then. In my sleep, I could feel Yuri getting up. I asked her in a muffled voice where she was going. To paint. When I woke up in the morning, I was alone in the bed, and the sheets around me were not warm. Yuri hadn't come back all night. I dressed quickly and went downstairs. Yesterday's scenes were repeated. Why did you knock on Perla's door again? Why are you knocking on Perla's door again? Didn't you sleep with her sister? Yuri yawned. I got up at night to pee. I went back the wrong way. She glanced at the red-eyed Pella and said, Why don't you change your room? So I won't make a mistake. That's a good idea. Perla's got her midterm coming up. You'll affect her exams. Are the exams important? Of course it is. Is it the midterm or the college entrance exam that's important? Auntie Wu didn't say another word. Yuri smiled and said, Don't worry, Perla. It doesn't matter if you don't do well in the midterm. After all, you'll have to take the college entrance exam in 3 years. You'll cry if you don't do well in the college entrance exam. Don't you think so? Auntie Wu. Auntie Wu never came back to influence me again. After all, compared to me, her daughter's future was more important. The day the exams ended, the only thing waiting for me at home was Yuri. Perla wanted to eat seafood. Why didn't you go? I had to wait for you.